Alright, what's going on? Back with another video. Oh my gosh. Re-recording this. I don't edit these videos. I do not edit these videos. I don't care about editing. All of that. It's just what it is. Anyways, this video, you already see the title. You already see the thumbnail. Whatever the thumbnail is. You already see the title, pretty much. Thumbnail probably doesn't matter. I use AI to make them. But anyways, in this video, I guess you could say inspiration. The reason why I'm making this video is because one of my clients, she is struggling with like seeing bad habits, her environment. She sees like other people around her eating unhealthy, so it makes her eat unhealthy or like crave that food, right? So I was thinking of like, how can I help her overcome this, right? Because this is what she's struggling with. How can I help her with this situation? Because I was in a very similar situation. So that's basically what this video is going to be about. I'm going to explain to you exactly how you could overcome this situation, how your environment creates you, and how to choose the right environment and the right habits, right? And I'm going to start off with a little personal story, right? So how do you overcome your environment, right? So little backstory on Jacob, right? When I was 16, I got hired at a grocery store. It was Harris Teeter. It's on the East Coast. I don't know if it's on the West Coast, but when I was 16, I first got hired at Harris Teeter, and I was kind of, a shy, nerdy kid, unconfident in myself. I would just play video games. That was my outlet. And I would not really interact with people. I would kind of just stick to playing Call of Duty, and I just didn't really like real life interactions, honestly. I was such an awkward cashier as well at Harris Teeter at the grocery store. I was so weird. But that was when I was 16, just getting out into like the world, I guess you could say. But that was like 16, turned 17, and around when I was turned 18, I got more comfortable with like talking to people. After like 2 years in a grocery store, you talk to people every day, you see coworkers, stuff like that, right? So over time, I got more comfortable around people, and I would still play Call of Duty. That was my thing. I don't have my gaming channel anymore, but I made gaming YouTube videos and stuff too. So I always wanted to be a content creator. But after like 2 years, I got confident. And then I started talking to people, right? And working at a grocery store, I would start talking with a lot of the coworkers. And this is where things kind of fell off, right? This is where I kind of fell off, because certain coworkers I would vibe with, but I shouldn't really be vibing with. Like, there was one girl that asked me to, if I wanted to hang out after work, and I ditched Call of Duty to go hang out with her just to eat some fast food and spend money and waste money. So that wasn't a good decision at all. And she was just using me for like as a rebound because she just got out of a relationship. It's like, I thought she actually wanted to build a connection, right? And then there was another person who, okay, so, wow, yeah, this actually goes a lot deeper than I thought. So, of course, there was a girl that wanted to hang out with me. And long story short, she didn't want to hang out with me no more. So, she had her own issues going on, I guess, and I was still kind of that socially awkward guy. So I'm 18 at the time, so I get on Tinder, right, and I'm looking for like some other girl to give me attention, right? I'm looking for that attention that initially she wanted from me, right? So eventually I find a girl, and we match, we get to talking, and she smokes, she does drugs, she's kind of like an emo girl, I think she was 18 as well, and I wanted to impress her. and the camera's kind of blurring out. I wanted to impress her, right? So there was another coworker of mine who had weed. He knew about drugs and stuff. He had an ankle monitor on him whenever I first met him. And to this day, what he said he did to get that ankle monitor, I don't believe him. But, I mean, he had an ankle monitor on him, but I don't know. Crazy person, right? This person did a lot of bad stuff, but he had access to weed, and he knew how to get weed. So I went to him to ask him if I could get some weed, so I could, like, smoke up with this girl. The mind of my... Back then, I look at myself, I'm like, Jacob, what are you thinking? But it's gonna get somewhere. It's gonna go somewhere, right? Because I'm, like I said, I'm like this shy, awkward kid, right? I'm just like this kind of like in my own kind of world kind of thing, right? So eventually I get some weed and I smoke with this girl. And then we go to a park, and a cop actually pulls up on us, and he lets us go, right? I didn't even know how to do anything. I got like rolling trays and everything, and I'm trying to roll a blunt or joint or whatever, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to impress her, right? So Jacob. Anyways, this was when I was 18. I was stupid. I'm 24 now, but almost 25. You live and you learn. But the point of the story is going somewhere. It's going somewhere, I promise. But I'm trying to impress this girl. The cop pulls up on us and lets us go with a warning, actually. I know he smelled the weed, but he let us go with the warning, right? Because I had no previous, like, violations on my license or anything. I was cooperative. We just dipped, and boom. And me, I still kept going for this girl. I don't know why. I think it was the people pleaser in me, the need for that validation. So much was going on at the time that I didn't understand. But because I talked to this dude to get weed as well, I would still interact with him, and weed gives you some sort of like dopamine. So once you start doing it, your body starts wanting more and more and more. So I kept going back to him to get more weed, and also like dab pens and stuff like that, right? So eventually the girl ghosts me, and she wasn't a good person to be around anyway. She wasn't any kind of like girlfriend, wife material at all, right? I don't know why I was so head over heels for her. It was like the first girl that I matched on Tinder that gave me attention, right? But when she ghosts me, it kind of hurt because I didn't really understand what ghosting was, and I've never been ghosted like that before. It's like somebody goes into your life, connects with you, and then just dips, right? And that's probably a story for another video. I'm not going to get too much in depth in that. I'm trying to stay on the topic, so I'm not wasting your time watching this video. But I go to this dude for weed continually and dab pens, so I could kind of like keep smoking weed and getting high and ignoring the bad feelings that I got from this girl, right? So eventually I start hanging out with this dude more, and he starts like introducing me to other friends, other people that I shouldn't be around, and like girls and guys. Or it started with girls. He started introducing me to other girls that I shouldn't be around, and then those girls started introducing me to other guys that I shouldn't be around. I got in like the wrong friend group in a way. I thought these people were my friends when really it was like a toxic environment. It was very toxic people. These people were not good people, right? Or they were probably good people inside, but their habits and their mindsets were awful. They were toxic, literally. And I was not a toxic person. Like, I probably had some internal issues that I needed to work on, such as like my self-confidence and social anxiety and stuff like that, right? But I would hang around these people as sort of like a way to like cover up that social anxiety, I guess you could say, or to feel like I fit in or something like that. And yeah, I would hang around these people to kind of cover up the deep feelings that I was feeling, right? And these people would use me for money. I would buy weed, and they would use the weed. I was a super people pleaser. These people would talk very negative about me. They would call me like names when I didn't really even do much. One time I missed like a turn when I was driving them. They would use me for car rides, actually. They would try and get me to take them wherever. But and then when I missed a turn, they would like yell at me for it when I'm literally just chilling. Like, so it's like, yeah, these people were very toxic. And over time, I adopted their habits and I became toxic, right? I saw how these people were and I was familiar with how they were acting towards me. So eventually I developed toxic mindset and toxic habits with smoking and treating people poorly. And I became toxic. I was toxic, you know. I would never consider myself a toxic person, right? But hanging around these people made me toxic. You know, it wasn't really me. It was my environment that I was around, the people that I was around made me toxic, right? I had bad habits. I had a poor mindset, all of that, right? I would adopt these people's habits almost as a way to, as like a self-validation thing, to get like validation from like these people in a way. And eventually I would do whatever they did to me, I would do to them. And they would get mad at me for doing it, but it's like, you did that to me, so how come, like, so eventually these people ended up not being friends anymore. Long story short, at some point I just had to cut these people off. At some point I wanted to quit smoking. I wanted to quit these bad habits. I wanted to stop wasting my money on these people that don't care about me. I want to stop giving my attention and energy, and I want to do what I want to do in life. I want to get better. I want to improve. So eventually I had to cut off these people. You have to cut off these people. And some of these people are going to be upset that you're going to do that. But you got to choose yourself over these other people. What value are these people giving in your life? These people gave me absolutely no value in my life. They did not help me get better. They wanted to see me degrade myself, downgrade myself, and not be the best version I could be, right? So I had to cut off these people. I blocked them. And they got upset about that. And I'm thinking like, okay, let them be upset, right? But I still had these habits that I was working through. There were points where I would be good on my grind, you know. I got up in the gym to build my body. I quit smoking, but then I relapsed on smoking. And I also relapsed on Tinder, right? Some of these habits still stuck with me, right? It would be harder to quit these habits with these people around, but without these people, I still had stuff I needed to work on. I relapsed on weed. And a part of me wanted to go back to who I was back then. It's almost like this addictive kind of like the way toxic environments are and like stuff like that. It's almost like addictive. It comes from like a stem of validation, I feel like. But it's like addictive. So I wanted to go back to that and feel those feelings again. Those negative feelings that I was trying to escape from. I wanted to go back to them. I don't know how to explain that, but yeah, so I relapsed on weed one time because I was like, you know what, I want to feel like that person again, you know. I don't know what it was I wanted to feel, but eventually when I was 21, I still had some of these habits and I was still talking to one of these people, right? I blocked her, disconnected from her, but then I kind of reconnected so I could kind of feel that, go back in time in a way, right? And I think a part of it was still to chase that validation from them, right? Or maybe as a what if they change kind of thing, right? But eventually, some of these habits, it led me to get a DWI. I was smoking while driving, and speeding. That was another bad habit I had, was speeding. And a cop pulled me over for speeding and saw that I was high, and he arrested me. I got arrested. Excuse me. And that was when I was 21. And I kind of thought, there's like this thing called the butterfly effect, right? Let's go back in time and say if I never hung out with these people and I never went to go get weed or anything like that, I would have never been arrested. If I never smoked weed in my life, I would have never been arrested. But it made me learn a lot. And I know this is kind of a long story, but I wanted to talk about this so you can kind of explain what you need to do, right? Because I know some people can definitely relate to my story. You're around people that have bad habits and you're trying to get better, you have to cut those people off. If they're your family, you have to go your own way. You have to figure out your own stuff. You have to take control of your life. You cannot let other people control your life. You cannot let other people get inside of your being. And you cannot adapt these habits just to get other people's validations. You don't need validation from anybody but yourself, right? So what's going to give you real validation? Being healthy, being on your grind, doing what you need to do? Or adopting these bad habits from these people that you don't even want to probably be around? I don't know your situation, but doing these bad habits that you don't want to be doing just to please somebody else, right? So step number one, cut off any person that you can cut off. If you're trying to change your life, if you're trying to develop a healthy lifestyle, if you're trying to build good habits, you need to surround yourself by people with the same habits that you want to adopt. Literally, you copy success. Success is copied, I feel like. Copy what the successful people are doing. They're not hanging around losers. They're not hanging around losers, right? You got to make sure you're not a loser yourself. You got to make sure you're doing what you need to be doing and staying locked in and grinding, right? Rule number one, step number one, whatever you want to call it, cut off whoever isn't serving your goal, whoever doesn't have your best interest in mind. You are the sum of the 5 people you hang around the most. So literally audit your circle. I've some books that I have back here, I've seen that multiple times. Audit your circle and cut off whoever needs to be cut off. Who cares about their feelings? Worry about you and get better for you, right? It might be hard. You might piss some people off, but that's what you have to do, right? You're pissing them off, but you should be the one that's pissed off because you're not the best version of yourself that you could be, right? And step number 2, I guess you could say, is have a purpose in mind. And now, if you're just cutting these people off and then going back to what you were doing before, then it's better than you were before, but it's still kind of like you're not really there. You know what I'm saying? So step number 2 would be to have a goal in mind. Get purposeful. Get intentional about where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do. You're trying to improve your life. You're trying to get in shape. You're trying to build a business. You're trying to just become a better version of yourself, the best version of yourself, right? So you have to have a goal, and you have to be intentional about actually following through to get into that goal, right? So I think that's really it. I mean, you have to cut these people off. If they're your family, then you have to, in that case, if you're always around these people, you can't remove them from your life, then you would have to take matters into your own hands and bury them. No, I'm playing. That's a joke. But you have to get rid of them by any means. Anyways. But no, at some point, you do have to take control of your own life. You know, if you have to move out of your parents' house, right? if you have to get your own place, if you have to move in with somebody else, something like that, right? But also, let's say you can't remove these people from your life. An idea, it would still go with like, what is your goal? Like, you have to find a purpose in what you're trying to do. You know, if you tell people you're trying to get in shape, most likely they're going to support you. If they're not supporting you, then they're a hater and you need to cut them off again. So both of these kind of go back hand in hand, right? I think that's all you really need to do. Just have a goal. If you have your goal that you're trying to achieve, make it known to these people and like set the example for them, because maybe you could help them and set the example for them and kind of be that like figure, like a good example, right? Because it could also work vice versa. If you're adopting bad habits, negative habits from people, it could be vice versa too. You could adopt good habits. So you want to be that person that has the good habits, and eventually they're going to try and copy you. So have a goal. Have a goal that you seriously, genuinely want to achieve, and be intentional with it. And then cut off anybody that does not support that goal. And remove anything from your life that does not support that goal, right? Including bad habits. And that could go deep. I could make some more videos about this, but that's what I would say. If you're around negative environment, toxic environment, unhealthy environment, people with bad habits, you have to remove yourself from those environments, or you have to keep your goal in mind. I would say that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think of something else that could help with that, but I think that's all you need, right? It really comes down to your goal. Your goal. My goal was because I wanted to become better. I wanted to be a better version of myself. What would make you feel better? Staying near those people and being even more toxic and drained, or becoming the best version of yourself, having energy, being in shape, people loving you, you're confident, stuff like that, right? Eventually those people are going to copy your good habits. So have a goal and have a plan to actually achieve that goal, right? It's going to help you way more. And I'm not saying you do have to cut off these people. That is probably like last resort. But because let's say you are on like a fitness journey or something, and maybe somebody in your friend group also wants to get on the fitness journey. You know, maybe they realize, oh, I do need to change my habits too. Then you have a friend to help you, and then you could both like build together, right? It depends on if you're building or if you're being destroyed. So go with the people that are helping you build. Also take control in building yourself, and then leave behind anything that's destroying you, right? It is a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's probably the best advice I could give based off of the experiences that I've had. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think of something else, but yeah, I hope this helps whoever needs to hear this. But yeah, this whole stuff is to get people to connect with me a little bit more and to help people on a little deeper level. That doesn't make sense, but on a deeper level. So yeah, if this did help you, leave a comment. I would like to hear your stories as well. Leave a comment. If you made it to the end of this video, shoot you a real one. So like and subscribe, and yeah, comment below any videos or your story. I love to hear that, or if this video helped you at all. So other than that, like I said, I don't edit these. If you made it to the end of this video, bro, you're freaking awesome. So thank you. Peace.